Hello, everybody. Welcome to Friday Night Live Stream. Uh, let's get this thing going. Let me add a couple cameras. There we go. Maybe I'll move that one. I don't know why the quality of the other two cameras is so crappy when I have them set up for StreamYard. Um, I guess when you have a guest, because that's how they're set up as guests to the stream. Maybe it reduces the quality because one the 55 shrimp tank. This is the 55 that sits on the floor in the fish room. And I'm going to talk about that here a little bit later. If you notice, there's a big kind of hole in the middle of all that Christmas moss. And this tank was full, basically end to end, bottom to top of Christmas moss. And there's a big hole in it for good reason. So that's actually my iPad. And then the OG shrimp tank, that's my cell phone, and to me it looks like a 20-year-old cell phone. So we'll see what's up with that. But good to see everybody. Mr. Metalhead was the first one here. Good to see you. Mystery Snail Guardians, Jim Williamson, Melmon, Uncle Steve's Neighborhood Garage. Good to see everybody. I guess I'll start off with this since I already mentioned it. This is my Blue Dream tank, or one of the Blue Dream tanks. You can see one. I wish I could have like a laser pointer, but you can see one at the front of the tank over there by that ram's horn, and you can see them swimming around. This tank is the Flip Aquatics Blue Dreams I started with, I don't know, a couple of years ago. But this tank, I've showed pictures of this tank before. Huge Christmas moss ball, basically. If you notice, it looks like two columns. I sold the portions of Christmas moss on the website. I think it's like $5 a portion. I had a wholesale order come through of 100 portions of Christmas moss. So, and then this week was a busy week for Christmas moss. I sold quite a bit on eBay, quite a bit through the store. I think I sold 130 to 140 portions of Christmas moss. So this tank that's 4 feet long, it's a 55-gallon, got really reduced, which is great because I go through Christmas moss so quickly that I trim it and have to either put it in a different tank or throw it away, or I usually throw it into the pond. But sold a ton of Christmas moss this week. It was crazy. The wholesale order, I ended up doing that by weight. So I figured I took a portion of Christmas moss, just damp, not in a wet bag or anything, and it's about 0.2 ounces. So 100 orders that they placed, I sent them 20 ounces plus like three or four extra ounces of Christmas moss. But it was a big chunk out of this tank. I still have a ton of it, but it's kind of good to see what the bottom of this tank looks like, because I haven't seen the bottom of this tank in, I'm trying to think how long it's been, like a year and a half before this Christmas moss took off. You can see a lot of mulm and detritus on the bottom, which is sweet, and the shrimps are just going all over the place. So cool to see the shrimp finally, because before you couldn't really see them. So cool to see them active. This OG tank, no reason I'm really showing it. Just this has some Lucas Brett's B Dream, which is the Blue Dream shrimp in it. Now that you can see it, the quality is horrible. Don't know why, but we'll work through it. But good to see you guys. Von Yinzer, good to see you here early on a Friday. Hopefully you're done working for the day and you get to hang out. Skull Aquatics, Jupiter One, Mike, good to see everybody. Nothing really new this week as far as fish, other than what I just mentioned with selling a ton of Christmas moss, a ton of it. So all the other fish tanks are doing good. No, knock on wood, no issues this week as far as like tank leaks or anything like that. My drum, I still got to work on that whole drum rack. I don't know. Maybe I'll get to it this weekend. And then I thought I had tank leaking on my flow through rack, and luckily it turned out it's just the pearl weed. I float the pearl weed and it gets that really bright green color. I use it in a lot of pictures because it looks really awesome. Well, it was overlapping into another tank, and basically it was wicking water up to the plant, and it was going down between the two tanks. So I don't know if it was in the trimming the jungle video, but I moved the pearl wheat off of the other tank, and it stopped that issue. So glad that's all that was, and nothing crazy. I know last weekend I had a little bit of a water overflow issue because I trimmed some jungle val, and one or two pieces got into the overflow that I didn't see, and it jammed up, and it caused one of the tanks to overflow. Luckily, I was here for that because on the flow through rack, that's a really big issue because if one tank overflows, all the other tanks are still going to cycle, and that sump is going to just keep pumping water. So it's a potential like 200 gallons, well, maybe not 200 gallons, whatever, I guess 100 gallons or so of water that can be pumped onto the floor. So luckily I caught it. It was still probably 2 or 3 gallons of water, but better than 100 gallons. But Mike, it's good to see you in here. Usually you're out doing stuff with car races or bird hunting. Von Yinzer actually off today. Spent the day off doing water changes. I feel like I always got something going on when I have a day off. I always think I'm going to get so much done on the weekends, and then I get sidetracked doing random things. Last weekend, I was working on trying to get the boat ready to sell. And when I took the cover off, because I was going like clean everything, because even with the boat cover on it, water will still slowly seep through the cover if it's got a low spot, which it did. I should have put a bow underneath to keep the cover, always shedding water. But anyways, it made like the vinyl seats dirty, so I needed to wash them. When I pulled the cover off, there was a wasp's nest underneath the cover. So I ripped the cover off, and all of a sudden, poof, all these wasps. And I'm like, not dealing with this. So I left the boat cover on the ground and basically ran back in the house because not trying to get stung. But I'm pretty sure I disrupted them to where hopefully they're trying to find a new home somewhere not inside the boat. But the boat, that's still a priority. I need to get the boat for sale. That'll free up a lot of room. And then once the boat's gone, I got a log splitter I need to sell. Just a lot of stuff, a lot of junk. But anyways, Von Yinzer, glad you have a day off. Good to see you in here. Fishing Flora, good to see you. Jupiter 1. Yo, Fishy Fam, just got my very first arowana in an Indo Tarpon. Excited to grow them out for OFR. Well, I mean, I don't know. I'll be honest. So that's sweet that you got a couple fish that you want. I don't know about the whole growing them out for OFR. I think it's one of those things where I would try to keep them as a lifer. So both those fish need big tanks because I don't want to sound like I'm being an a-hole, but buying fish that you won't be able to take care of, but OFR will take them, I don't think is really the right thing to do either. That'd be like me buying a pacu and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna keep it until it's this big, and then I'll just give it to OFR. But those are Indo Tarpon. That's pretty sweet. But I would try to get a big tank or get a big pool pond. That'd be sweet. One day, once I get a new house in a basement, I'll be able to do bigger pool ponds in the house, which would be fun. Because then I keep things year round. Because I have the pool pond outside, but I can't keep stuff in it year round. I could if I heated it and also like insulated as best as possible, but I don't want to have to run a 1500 watt heater all winter long. That would just kill my electrical bill. And it's already enough. So I was actually thinking about it earlier. So my electric bill this month was $350, and I was like, I wonder how much each tank contributes to the electric bill. So I think I might buy one of those. I think it's called like kilowatt meters, and it basically monitors whatever electricity that specific outlet's using. And then I believe you can type in like how much your kilowatt hours cost through your electric company, and they'll tell you like, hey, this thing's using $4 a month. Because I was like, man, $350. Granted, I do run my AC when I'm home, so it's set to 72 degrees. I know if I set to like 75, it'd be cheaper, but I don't like 75. I like 72. But I just like this tank. So this tank's got a light on it that runs 10 hours a day. It's got a canister filter runs nonstop, and it's got a 200-watt heater, maybe a 300. I think it's a 200-watt heater to keep this tank at like 84. That's for the Brilliant Bristle Nose. It's actually probably running cooler now. It's probably 82. So maybe that thing costs me $5 a month. But if every tank costs me $5 a month and I have 60 tanks, I can see where that adds up. It's probably not $5 a month, but I'm sure it's at least a few bucks. Not 58,000 gallons like OFR. Yeah, my pool pond is 500 gallons. I feel like if I had a basement, I would try to stretch it out to as big as possible. I could see like walking into a basement and like the whole basement is the pool pond. That'd be pretty cool. Only Oscars, good to see you. Ray Aquatics, good to see you. Vanyas, I wish I got get the mosses to thrive my tanks. I try so dang hard, but no luck. It always melts away. Christmas moss for me it's just like duckweed. I can put it in pretty much every tank and it does great. The only tank I haven't had good luck with it so far is the Fluval 25 gallon or 30 gallon, whatever size tank the Fluval tank is. That had the pea puffer. I put some Christmas moss in it like a couple weeks ago, and it just looks like it's melting away. I don't think that light is good for really anything. I mean, it lights up the tank great, but I think the wavelengths for the like plant spectrum is just way off because the Java ferns in that tank. I mean, they're alive, but they look like crap, and that's why I kind of like don't mess with Java ferns because I can never get them to really grow here. And Java fern is supposed to be like the beginner plant. Like, oh, you plant it, you're good. And I've had them in different tanks. I have Java fern under highlight, and it just does what it does. It's not like really growing. I know it's not a highlight plant, but I'm trying the different spectrum. So everything from highlight to low light, and Java fern, I can't grow it. Maybe it grows, but it's not healthy looking. I just can't do Java fern. But Christmas moss, that thing is a weed in pretty much all my tanks. So, and it looks super awesome under highlight. If you got extremely highlight Christmas moss, I guess under like if you can really get the par to the ground, Christmas moss will grow flat and carpet a tank, which is the CPD tank. So that's where it's real flat. It's just on driftwood, so it doesn't look like a carpet. But if that driftwood wasn't in there and that was just on the bottom, it'd be just a carpet of Christmas moss, which would be pretty cool. Duckweed is no problem to grow here. The moss seems like a no-go. I mean, yeah, that's sometimes, just like with my Java fern, it's just your water, the plants, I guess, just don't like them. Only Oscars says, I need some bristle nose. They are on the website if you're looking to buy some. I got regular bristle nose, and then I have super reds. They're all hobbyist grown or bred. All the super reds have been bred here. I mean, you can see there's a baby right there actually, and there's babies all over this tank. But there's actually a couple on the back. I don't think you see the other one. It's whatever. But yeah, I have them on the website. I actually don't know. Let me see what they are. Come on. Let me see. Let me get back in the chat real quick. Uncle Steve's Garage said, one of my customers has a small man-made pond for frogs that's having an issue with the fountain pressure and isn't sure if it's deep enough for the frogs and fish to hibernate in. Any suggestions for her? So if you have a pond, if you're trying to keep fish in it over winter, here, Steve is local to me. it needs to be at least 3 feet deep to keep it from freezing solid. And then in the wintertime, you need to keep, if you have fish in it, which would be like koi or goldfish for overwinter, you got to keep air moving. You basically need an air pocket. So you like an air stone in the bottom of the pond that will keep the surface broken open. So that way they can get oxygen exchange going, even in wintertime. Depending on the fountain, having an issue with the fountain pressure. As I say, a fountain would work as long as it keeps water, circulating in the winter. And you have that open space for oxygen. That 3 feet is what I would say for around here. You need minimum. Only Oscar says, Stephen, can I attach jungle val to driftwood? I've never done it. I'm trying to think. So jungle val, which is in this, I'll move it right here. The OG shrimp tank, pretty much all the lighter stuff you're seeing is all jungle val. There is some Christmas moss, spread out through there. Jungle val, being that it's just like a regular stem plant, I don't know. I mean, you could try to super glue it to driftwood, but it's going to shoot out runners. So I wish I could use the mouse as a pointer on here. If you're looking, there goes one of the blue dreams. Anyways, when the plant starts growing, it sends out a little runner. So those little runners are going to start going all over the tank. And then if it's on driftwood that's, angled or off the bottom, they're going to kind of go out into the water column. And then eventually the runners will make their way back down to the substrate. You can trim the runners off, which is a good way to propagate. I mean, that's how you propagate jungle vals. You just trim a runner off. I guess you could try super gluing jungle val to driftwood, but I don't think the roots are really going to try to attach themselves. But until you try, I would definitely try it. What I would probably do is get a piece of cholla wood, and stick a piece of jungle val inside. Let me make my screen bigger so I can see what I'm doing. Inside one of these holes, and that way the roots can go inside this, and then put this in your tank, and then let it go. That's a great idea. I'm going to do that tonight. Get a couple pieces out. I'm going to do that because I think that could be cool. Because with the cholla wood, you got all these holes, right? So you could line this thing up, one plant, and go right down, and have this thing. It would almost be like a Java fern. And I can grow jungle val. That's what this tank is. So I might try that tonight. Maybe I'll do a video on that, and we'll see how it goes. But the tank that we're looking at right now, that's where I pull majority of the jungle val that I sell on the website. That's the tank it comes from, is this Blue Dream tank. And there's a dark Blue Dream right there in the front corner on the right. Jungle val is a heavy root feeder. Don't think it would work on wood. Yeah, I mean, I could see. I mean, it's definitely a heavy root feeder, but I could see it pulling nutrients out of the water column if the roots were, free floating, if you will. I just don't think the plant's going to stay on the wood. I don't think it's going to attach like a moss would, or like a rhizome plant, Java fern, Anubias. Those plants are, they're not planted in the substrate, so they're kind of designed to grab onto things. So I think that's why they do good on driftwood. I don't think a stem plant would. And I'm not even thinking like nutrients aside, like not counting nutrients. I think just the plant itself won't stick. But that's a good question. That I'm kind of excited. I'm going to try that right after the live stream. We'll see how that does. Because I think if you put the plant in here and use this basically as a holder, the roots will eventually come out the bottom and go into the substrate. and be kind of a cool little, I don't know, focal piece for the bottom of the jungle bell. And this is like the perfect size too, because these aren't like the super like wide ones. They're, you know what? I'm not even going to talk about the wood because Matt's going to pop in here, and this conversation is going to get sideways when I start talking about the wood and dimensions of it. So we'll just leave that one alone. But yeah, if you got any questions, go ahead and shoot them my way. Normally, like Von Yunzer put at SE Aquatics, that would highlight my screen, which is the right thing to do. But the problem is with StreamYard, it doesn't highlight my screen because the chat's not. It doesn't work like that. If it's normal YouTube, it would work. Oh, so anyways, the bristle nose, the regular just bushy nose, they're $8 a piece. Is that right? Check. Where did they go? There they are. $7. They're $7 a piece for the regulars. Let me see what the super reds are. The super reds are more, but super reds are $10 a piece. So if you're looking for bristle nose, that's what they are. Get out of here. I never know if my chat's working. Pull up YouTube. Miss having a second screen. I'm gonna try to get my olds. I found out they sell adapters for every cable. It seems like my old screens that won't work with my new video card. Well, they sell an adapter to make it work. Which, I mean, I end up buying a whole new monitor. Which this is a nice monitor. I like it. But now to get a second screen, I was like, I want to wait and buy another one like later down the road. But I'm just gonna buy the adapter. I think it's like $8. And I'm getting sidetracked. Let me get into the chat. All right, I'm back in. So yeah, anybody have anything going on as far as fish related things this week? Any new tanks? Any new fish? Get rid of that. So I know Jupiter got his arowana and Indotarpon. What else is going on out there? Tonight's drink is just water. I did have a coffee for dinner, basically, so a couple hours ago. Hopefully that keeps me awake. Oh, I was going to mention my phone. So we're watching my phone right now, which kind of sucks because it's got my calendar. Keystone Clash is coming up, I think. September 24th through the 26th, which is next weekend. I unfortunately have to work, so I won't be able to make it. Let me just see if I can pull any info up. Okay, let me share screen. What is... I don't know if I'm doing this right. All right, so Keystone Clash, September 24th, 26th, Holiday Inn, Morgantown, PA. And you can book a room through there. Here's some information about it. Climate controlled, which it's in the hotel, right? Yes, it's in the hotel. So it's going to be in one like the convention rooms that they have at the hotels. Is there a schedule? I was trying to see if there was a schedule. There it is. So Friday looks like people are dropping off. So just kind of setting up. So Saturday. This is what I want. Oh, Lucas Bretz is going to be there. See, I didn't know who was going to be there. I knew the event was next weekend. I was just going to go for the auction, but Lucas Bretz is going to be there talking, and he's got really good talk. So go see him if you can, if you're thinking about going. He's got a really good talk. Eric Bodrock is a good one too. He's really big into corridoras, so his talk would be really good. So definitely go check it. If you could go just for these two talks, that'd be perfect. Jen Williams, to be honest, I don't know who that is. Oh my gosh, Gary Lang's going to be there? Gary Lang, who else? That's it. I don't know. Lucas Bretz, Eric Bodrock, and Gary Lang. And that's Saturday, so I work Saturday. So, man, that sucks. Keystone Clash is not close to me. I think it's quite a bit of ways. I don't know if it's 7 hours, 8 hours. I think it might be like 8 hours away from me. But I would totally go for those speakers for sure. Is anybody in that area going? I'd be curious. Oh, tell Steven about your new fish thing. Tell you how irresponsible you are. You know I didn't mean it like that. I'm just, sorry. Didn't mean to hurt feelings. Hey, Mickey, good to see you. Having some fish Tetris over here. Bought 8 new Killie species at our Killie show. We'll take some time to solve where to put them. So that happened to me with the buffalo head cichlids. I was at a talk with Lawrence Kent. So he's from Seattle, if I remember correctly, or Washington. He came to our club, did a talk on collecting these buffalo head cichlids in Africa, and the whole process, how he didn't get them on his trip there. So he went back, I don't know if it was like the next year or years later, and finally he found them and caught them, and then he bred them. And then at our club meeting, he brought a bunch of fry, and I'm talking like fry. And I just had this impulse buy. I was like, oh my gosh, I like buying fish when I know the personal history. Like I knew Lawrence Kent collected the fish, he bred them. Like I'll get them, I'll breed them, and then that's a good way to sell fish for a profit if you have a good background on them. Versus just buying, you could go to a store and get buffalo head cichlids. I don't know if every store has them, but you can definitely order them online for sure. But having these are Lawrence Kent, he caught them personally. He's got pictures of them, knows the collection point. So I bought them. I don't know why. I come home, I'm like, where am I going to put buffalo head cichlid fry? So luckily, I think this was shortly after I set up the flow through rack system. And so I had a few tanks open. So I put them in one of those tanks. And I think out of I don't remember, 12 fry, I think I got 9 of them to raise up and grow to not full size, but juveniles. And then I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with these. It was one of those things where after a few months, I'm like, well, why did I buy these? I'm not a cichlid person. So I ended up selling them. Jen Williams is an aquascaper. Okay. GCCA fish swap is 9 of 9/26. So that's also next weekend. Man, that sucks when multiple events overlap. Because out of those two, I mean, GCCA is cool, but I would probably still go Keystone Clash just because of the speakers. Scroll in. KP says hello. That's to Skull Aquatics. But yeah, All right, let me get back on task. See, and the other thing I just realized is that StreamYard still hides comments. Like, so Mickey's, I'll just show this. So Mickey said, check out this YouTube channel for a video of the Killy exhibit. I can't talk. Exhibit. We'll just say that. Anyways, YouTube held that comment because it's mentioning another YouTube channel. So what that does, like, they automatically do that when, you know, you might have like big channels and you don't want people coming in and like trying to advertise on their live streams. So it automatically holds it. Well, I couldn't see that until I swapped over to my YouTube page and then it showed it. So that's a downside, I guess, of StreamYard. I like StreamYard because it's easy to add the multiple cameras, but the downside to that is the quality really sucks. So I need to work on I need to figure out how to get these cameras onto my Streamlabs. I have the phone I can do to Streamlabs easily using like a third-party software, but I don't think I can do multiple camera streams to Streamlabs how I do it with the phone. So if anybody has ideas how to get multiple streams in wirelessly, because that's the problem, is that the cameras are moved all over the house. Like if I was in my fish room, I could just plug all the stuff into my computer and be done. But it doesn't work like that. I wonder if I don't think we broke 3,000 subs yet. I think we were close, but not there yet. 2.91. So I don't know where it's at on it, because it, like, once you hit like 1,000 subs or whatever, it goes to that point. So we're less than 90 or less than 100 away. So hopefully, maybe in a few weeks, I'll do a giveaway. So that was one thing. I was doing that like a long time ago. I was doing all these giveaways of like products and stuff. Yeah. Maybe we'll do a giveaway tonight. What do I have to give away? Let's do a giveaway. How can I do this on the fly? I wasn't planning on this. I'll do one giveaway tonight, and we'll give away some root tabs. So if you're a Planet Tank person, if you want to try the 614 root tabs out, I'll give away those tonight. Let's do that. Let me hold this up. Copy. All right. Link is in the chat for the root tabs. I'm trying to think how. I think we'll do. See, I used to do it like pick a number between like 1 and 100, and whoever was closest, it's seized. What's seized? Still looks okay on my end. What, is the stream seized? It looks okay. How is the giveaway working? So normally I do like 1 to 100, and you guys just, whoever gets closest to the number first wins. I think that's probably the easiest way to do it. Jeremy says it's working here. Mike says it's all good. Okay. All right, I was concerned. And because I know there are people that are not in the U.S., I'll ship this worldwide. We'll do worldwide on this, and I'm sending water conditioner to you. Just so you guys know, water conditioner in the form of a little tab will be sent to you outside the United States. So is the number, I think the number will be the easiest thing. I'll write down the number on a piece of paper. If I had a piece of paper, there's got to be a piece of paper somewhere. How would I not have a piece of paper? Um, I'll write it. I'll write it on my hand. Does this pen work? Okay. All right. So, is everybody ready? Think of a number. And it says there's 24 people watching right now. So your chances of winning are very good. So think of a number between 1 and 100. Don't say it yet. Just think of it. I got to think of a number. And whoever hits the number the closest, fine, Yinzer. I would just normally pick that, but I'm not tonight. Okay. I got the number written on my hand. It's on the back. Don't worry. Think of the number between 1 and 100. And should we go like until everybody you get one guess, or like until somebody you just keep guessing until somebody hits it? What do you guys think? Mickey, if you win, you might be getting some root tabs. Honestly, you might you might be the only person that's not in the U.S. here. I'm not sure, but we'll go. All right. So, what do you guys think? Everybody gets one guess, or you just keep guessing until somebody hits it? How about we do one? Because somebody's computer is going to be faster than somebody else's. So everybody gets one guess. And when I type in go in the chat, we'll go from below there. So I see some numbers in there already. We'll go one guess. All right. And there we go. Pam used to do closest but not over the number you have. We can do that. That's probably the easiest way. So closest to the number I'm thinking without going over. 1 to 100. Vanians are still with the 69. I even told you I wasn't going to do that tonight. I'm surprised you picked that. It's the closest without going over. Did everybody put their number in? We'll close it out in 10 seconds. And I see who the winner is. Remember, one any number that was picked after I said go. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me type stop. Okay, and the number or the winner was closest without going over. Nobody. The number was 13. Nobody guessed 13 or below. Like if you would guess 1, you would have got it. But I don't see anybody that was. Everybody went over. So we're going to redo the guessing. So we're going to go to round 2. Now I need a new number. Try to get this number off my hand. Insert Jeopardy music. So I was going to say like Price is Right. Like somebody needs the $1. All this, but all right. Let me think of a new number. Make sure it's off my hand. S. Hello. If you just joined, we're doing a giveaway. It's going to be a bottle of Root Tabs. I guess I should grab a bottle and you can see it. A bottle of Root Tabs. I don't know if it's showing up. 60 tabs. So 60 tabs, and I'll pay for the shipping to you. So I'm giving away, and when I hit 3,000 subs, we'll do like a good giveaway. Maybe we'll do like multiple things instead of just one. But this is kind of fun. So, when I say go, drop your guess, number 1 to 100. And closest without going over wins. Let me think of a number. Okay. Numbers written down on the back of my hand. And chat's away. And one guess when I say stop, we'll end it. So get your guess in 1 to 100 without going over. I do need some Jeopardy music. Can I? I don't think I can play sound waves through here. That'd be kind of cool. And then if you guys type in a number and then you see that somebody already guessed it, just type a new number in. Vanyans went with the 1 up. Morslack did the 69. So Von Yunzer, $1 on top of him. All right, so somebody's definitely winning this round. We just got to see who it will be. All right, we're going to end in 10 seconds, so get your guess in. And I'll highlight the winner. And dude beat me to it. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So let's give a little suspense. So this is not the winner, but Mickey, you were the second closest. So you were going to have it. You had it for a while. And the winner is Bruce D. Is that Bruce Dickey? If that's a local guy, Bruce. The number was 97. 97. So Bruce was the closest without going over. I'm just going to double check, make sure that is correct. But I don't see anybody higher than 90. So it looks like Bruce was the winner. So Bruce. Yes. Okay. Let me see. I should have your information in here. Mickey, yeah. When I saw you guess, inside, I was like, man, that's so funny because he's the only one that's here that's out of the United States and he's winning. That's funny. Customers. Oh, Bruce, I forgot you live in my town. So if you want to swing by, Bruce, see, this is like the exact opposite. So Mickey was originally going to win. I was going to ship these root tabs across the world, and now somebody that's within 5-minute drive of me won. So I guess I got to get some live plants now. Yep. So Bruce, shoot me an email. whenever you want, you can swing by and pick these up if you want them. I mean, you don't have to take them, but that's what you want. My email is sales@614fish.com. But yeah, that's kind of weird. Polar opposites. The closest person to me and then the furthest person. But man, see, this is so much fun for me. I just want to keep giving stuff away, but I can't be giving too much away yet. When I hit 3,000 subs, I'll make sure we have a good time and I'll give away, I don't want to say a bunch of stuff, but a bunch of stuff. We'll do like fish foods and random stuff. Maybe that's a good way to show, obviously, like free stuff's free stuff, but would it be tacky for me to give away like heater, like used heaters? Because I have a bunch of used aquarium heaters that like just sit around, like I don't have a use for them. You know, if it's free to somebody, would that be a problem, or do you think that's just too tacky, like giving away free equipment that's used? But J Rock does stuff. I'm glad I didn't play the first round. I would have won. I always pick number one, but I won this week in other streams. I want other people to win stuff. Well, that's nice that, you know, you're letting other people win stuff. I will donate for your 3K giveaway. Donate some geese. So Mike is a bird, I guess, bird hunter. Like, I think he does like geese, ducks, pheasants, you know, all that stuff. And I always see the pictures on like Facebook and stuff that he shares. And but this is going to be a good fall like time to hang around Mike with like food. I bet there's some awesome meals being cooked at his place. So I understand that too. I feel like I try to get too complicated, like when I'm trying to like do like not do a giveaway, but join a giveaway. I try to see like, all right, most people are like in the 50s, 60s, 70s. And if it's the closest without going over and I try to guess the number where it's like got the biggest range. Like nobody was below like 40, then I would just do one. Like, because then that gives you 40 numbers or chances or whatever. But lots of jerky game made this time of year. So one of my coworkers, he's a big hunter fisher. He fishes like all year long. Coming up, I don't know if it's like next month or when, but him and his buddy go to New York and they do salmon fishing. They bring back like fillets, like big, huge fillets of them. And I forget what he was charging. Last year it was like, they were like gallon-sized bags. I think there was 5 fillets in a bag, and they were like $5 or something like that, or maybe $10. $10 or $5 or $10 for like, and I'm talking like a big bag, packed full. So what they do is they go and like wherever their limit of however much they can catch, like is a lot of however many. If there's, I don't know if there's 10 of them that go, but they can catch a lot of fish. And they can't eat all that fish. What they do is they sell it to coworkers and stuff to cover the cost of the trip itself. But you know, come deer season, he hunts deer, and then he does, you know, deer burgers and jerky or whatever. But what he brings into work is usually jerky and like summer sausage, and it's really good. A few years ago, he had someone do like a spicy summer sausage, and it was the best thing ever. It was so good. And then I don't know if it was a different person, like they quit or something, or that company went out of business. But the next company, it was still good, but wasn't as good as that first company. That first company had like the spices down like perfect. He does that. I don't know if he does like turkey. I don't think he hunts turkey or like pheasants or anything, but deer and fishing is huge for him. He's a big fisherman. If getting something away that people could use or want, used or not, it's going to help someone that needs it. That's true. So I got like some 50-watt heaters, like small stuff. that just, once I did the fish room, I didn't need heaters because I heated the fish room. So I had a bunch of like smaller, some of them I think are like the preset to like 78 degrees, like I don't know if it's Tetra brand or Marina. I'll have to look at the brands, but some stuff I bought through the fish club and just I bought for backups. I know I bought at one point I had a ton of 50 watts. I strictly bought for backup. They were used. I brought them home. I tested them all. They all worked. But yeah, metalheads. If it helps someone out, I don't see that as tacky. Okay, I mean maybe the way I'm looking at it is like I'll still give away like I don't know. I'm just grabbing stuff I have here, like so some botanicals, like new stuff, like cholla wood, um, root tabs or fertilizer, whatever. But I'm like, well, this might be a good way for me to help clear out some of my space instead of like trying to list stuff on. Let's squirrel. Let's talk about marketplace. Trying to sell stuff on marketplace. Holy crap! So the thing we'll call it back in the day was Craigslist. You list stuff on Craigslist. You never knew who was going to show up, if they were going to show up, whatever. Marketplace comes around. I'm like, this is great because you can see their Facebook profile. Be like, man, that person looks straight thug or whatever. Like, I don't know if I really want them showing up to my house. Let's go meet. I usually meet people at the police station because it's a block from my house and they have a internet meet spot. It's literally a board at the police station that says internet meetup. It's for doing stuff like that. So like you don't give out your home address. You just meet in the parking lot of the police station. I don't know if it's more safe or not because like where you meet up, like there's never cops out at the police station. But I guess, if something happened, you just lay on your horn and hopefully somebody come out, whatever. Anyways, let's see. I had sports equipment I sold last weekend. Listed for sale. I knew it was like a heck of a deal that I was listing. I just wanted it gone. It was actually, I think, what I paid for it. So like I broke even. I had like 6 people all comment. And the first thing they do is they click like the auto response, like, is this still available? And in my head, I say, if it's up, it's available. Don't message me. Just tell me if you want to buy it. Like, this is a firm price. Like, I'm not trading. Like, if you want to buy it for this, message me. So everyone's like, oh, is this still available? And then like 5 people said, I want it. When can I come get it? I'm like, this was like Friday night or whenever I posted them, like tomorrow I'll be gone from like noon to 4. So anytime before or after, nobody after that, nobody responded. Finally, like this one person said like, I want to come get it. And they came and got it, luckily, but it's just a nightmare. And then the same thing with my graphics card. So this is a current thing. So this is my old video card on my computer. I mentioned about I upgraded and all that stuff. Well, video cards are worth some money right now. So this thing's old. This is from, I looked it up. This was released in 2014. I didn't buy it new in 2014. I bought it a few years ago. I think I paid like $100 for it. It's on eBay right now, and I think the bids are at $112. So I used it. It's, what is it? 7 years old now. 7, maybe going on 8. I don't know when it was released in 2014. Anyways, get my money back out of it. But it's listed used, perfect working condition. And I tell people, like right in the ad, I pull this out of my computer because I got a new video card. There's nothing wrong with it. I do a bunch of pictures. You got to have this like 6-pin power connector to power this thing up. The new cards use 8 pins, and my new card uses 16. You have to have 2 8-pins. I have a picture of it, like all this stuff. Like works fine. I upgraded. What I get a comment on? Is it new? No, it says used. I pulled it out of my computer. Another comment was, is it refurbished? Like, no, I said I pulled it out of my computer. Like, and then the one comment I didn't get was, the guy said, why is it only a 6-pin? Why is it not an 8-pin? And I said, well, I don't know. It doesn't need an 8-pin. Like back in the day, it was 6-pin. And so I use it in my new computer, and the 8-pin connector is the same thing, and just 2 of the pins don't work. Like you don't use them. Like some of the questions are crazy. And then I had, the one guy that asked a bunch of questions put a bid in. He's actually the high bidder right now at $112. I have a feeling this is not going to work because he asked me a bunch of questions. And I think he's foreign, like, or English is not his first language, very broken English. Um, but he said, "Okay, I want to buy it or whatever," and he put a bid. Well, today he sends me a message. It said, "I retract my offer. I bought another video card." And I'm looking, I'm like, "Well, you're the high bidder, dude. Like, this is eBay. Like, if you say you're going to buy it, you got to buy it. Like, I can't just not sell it to you. Like, there's no option for me. Like, oh, don't sell it to the high bidder. Sell it to the second highest. It doesn't work like that. Like, you put a bid in. Like, it's supposed to be a contract, like a binding contract. He could just not ever pay me. I won't ship it until I get paid. But I mean, that kind of sucks because then I have to like relist it and do the whole auction again. But he said, I told you I don't want it. So I didn't even respond. Like, I'm mad at this point. And then he responds a few minutes later saying, "Sorry about my attitude. My friend wants it, so I will still buy it," or whatever. But we'll see. I hope he just gets outbid by somebody else. It ends on Sunday. I'm hoping somebody $1 him at the end and I don't have to deal with him because that's going to be a nightmare. Nobody reads the actual ad before asking questions. Yeah, like for real. Like it says used like new condition. Like there's nothing wrong with it. It's not dirty, broken, chipped, scratch. Like it's like if you bought it new, it just doesn't come in a fancy box. J Rock does stuff. If people don't want or need it, they can choose to not play the giveaway. That is true. I know, like when I was doing the giveaways, I feel like it's been at least a year ago. There was like this period where I was like every week I was giving stuff away. I'm like, man, this is so much fun. And then I was like, after a little bit, I was like, man, like after shipping all this stuff all over the place, I'm like, I just spent hundreds of dollars. Like crap. So I kind of gave up on the giveaways for a while. But what I was doing back then, that let's say, because it's fun to play, like even like let's say you have no live plants, so root tabs you'll never use them, right? It's still fun to try to win something. So what I was doing was, if you won something and you know you're not going to use it, you can give it to somebody that tries. So that happened actually a couple times that people like gave their stuff. I think Mickey, I don't know if you're still here or not, but I feel like Mickey won something, even though like I specifically said, I think it was my fertilizer. The shipping liquids out of the US is extremely hard with customs, because of chemicals and whatever. That's why, like, if you follow Aquarium Co-op, they said they were having problems trying to sell to Canada. That's why they only ship to like US, and that's why they put their fertilizer on the Canada Amazon page, because they can do all the paperwork to Amazon. The Amazon handles deliveries, however that works. I think Mickey won fertilizer and then gifted it basically to somebody else that was trying to play. I know people were gifting stuff. Same thing with fish. When I give away fish, people were gifting it because fish, no matter what, I'm only shipping to the 48 states. I was shipping 50 states, but with shipping right now, squirrel. I got an order I need to check on actually about fish, which I didn't get an email from the guy today, which is probably not good. Nope. Oh my gosh. All right, so let's talk about this fish order. Got a guy that emailed me. I won't drop names or anything because I don't want to drop names. I don't like doing that. This is not a bad story or anything. So this guy emailed me about he wanted Vienna guppies, but he couldn't receive them yet because he was waiting for a tank to finish cycling or being set up with plants. I said, go ahead and place your order so that way, like if I sell out, like you're guaranteed to get some right now. And I'm like, just email me whenever you want me to ship them. And he's like, cool. So he placed the order. Like a week goes by. He's like, hey, can you ship them? Preferably, I'd like to have them on Wednesday. So when I go ship stuff, I can see if like UPS, it'll say it'll take like one business day. or if USPS will take 2 business days, depending on where they live. Sometimes it's 1 day for each. I always ship whoever gets there the quickest. If it's 1 business day or 2 business days, it just so happened where he lived, USPS would have it in 2 business days. So I'm like, all right, if I ship them on Monday, you'll have them Wednesday. So bag them, ship them Monday. Should be there by Wednesday. He emails me on Thursday. So once I ship stuff, I go through like a lot of orders. So like this week, I might have had like 30 orders of just not fish, but like, somebody bought root tabs. That's 1 order, however it goes with the Christmas moss. I don't check to make sure every package gets delivered. If there's an issue, somebody emails me like, hey, like this package didn't show up or whatever. So he emails me yesterday and says it didn't get delivered. It was yesterday morning. He said it didn't get delivered yesterday. The tracking shows it hasn't updated since it left like his local area or like his regional area. So I looked at it. So he's in New York or New Jersey. So with the tracking history, it shows that I dropped them off at 5:07 p.m., which I drop off after work with live shipments because I could drop it off at 8 a.m. It doesn't matter. It sits at my local place until like 6:30 or 7 p.m. So I used to get there as soon as possible thinking like, oh, they'll get them out like at noon. No. So as long as I have them there by 6 p.m., they still ship out the same day. But anytime before 6 p.m., they just sit there. So it shows like the scan shows 5:07 p.m. on Monday. It got to my regional facility at 6:22. It left at 3:30 in the morning. Went to like Pennsylvania. Got to New Jersey on the 15th, which was Wednesday. And that's the day it was supposed to be delivered. It said got to the distribution center. Sat there all day Wednesday. Still Thursday. And today's update says in transit, arriving late. Your package will arrive later than expected, but it's still on its way. It's currently in transit to the next facility. So it's Friday, and he still doesn't have, and this is a live fish. It's Vienna guppies. And what sucks is he bought a pair, and I sent a pair with like 4 juveniles or like fried juveniles, like not fried, but not really juveniles in that intermediate stage. So I sent him like extras because he was super excited to get these Viennas. And so I sent him extras. Well, now it looks like, so they've been in the mail for 5 days now, and he didn't even get them today yet. So that really sucks. So that, luckily, knock on wood, that's the only order this week that had any issues. And apparently it's this New Jersey distribution center. Because it moved, looking at the timestamps, it moved all the way to like Jersey City, New Jersey, and then went to this other distribution center. It hasn't moved since Wednesday. When was that? 6:36 a.m. It's been sitting in this place. So I'm not thinking that's going to be good. Luckily, because he emailed me, like he was concerned, like he's like, he said, like, I know it's not your fault. Like, I can see you shipped them or whatever. Like, they're stuck here. He's like, what's your policy about them being dead? And I said, even though that's clearly the post office's fault, I still cover that. No matter what. Like, I guarantee they'll get to you alive. So I said, if they show up DOAs, I'll reship. And then obviously I won't ship USPS to them because that distribution center has got an issue for sure. So I'll ship UPS. And to be honest, I haven't had, I think out of all the orders I shipped to UPS, I've only ever had one delay with them. Like, they've been really good as far as like not having delays. And really USPS, like I usually don't have many issues with them. There has been issues, especially with COVID, with like everything being backed up. I would have issues with them real randomly. Like, I've had like dry goods take a week to get to somewhere where it should have took 2 days. But it's kind of like a gamble. But honestly, with UPS, I've had pretty decent luck with them. So I'll probably have to reship them to Vienna's. But what I'm getting at is the positive side is I breed them, so I'm not really out. So every fish, even if I breed them, there's technically a cost. Cost of fish food, the tanks, the maintenance. Like if there's a heater, technically that's electricity. There's a cost to everything, but the cost of breeding fish is a lot cheaper than me buying fish and then reselling them. That's why, like, the whole goal, the business, like, over this summer has been to stop importing fish and just focus on breeding and doing local fish that are bred. With the rainbows, I had a lot of issues shipping rainbows like a year ago. And the rainbows came from Mike, who's right here on the page. And I had like one shipment of, I don't remember how many rainbows it was, like 12 rainbows. They all died. They were all DOAs. I can't remember the situation, if it was super cold out, if it was super hot out, or if stuff got delayed. They were all DOAs. Well, I ate that price. So Mike and I have a good relationship because he tells me, like, look, like, you can sell the fish for this much money. I want this much money. I'm like, cool. He'll usually, like, we'll bring the fish over. I keep them in my tanks, and then when they sell, that's when I give them the money. So he kind of like leases me the fish, I guess is the best way. So it's good and bad. Like, it's good because I'm not out initial money until the fish sell. But the bad part is, like, hey, Mike, like 12 of the fish died. So, and he's been really gracious to be like, I'm not charging you for those fish. Like, he's like, I know you, like, you didn't like sell them and you're not telling me they were actually an issue. So that's been a good part. Cause like if I would buy all this fish up front, then let's say they were $10 a piece rainbow fish and I just lost 12, that's $120 gone. I eat the $38 shipping fee gone, and then I have to reship it. So that's another $38 fee. And then another $120 in fish I have to like eat. So it's like ends up being like a $300 ordeal. So that works out. But like the super reds, I bought 50 or 75 of them from a local breeder. I just paid up front for those. I did lose a couple, but like out of 50 fish, losing a couple is not like a surprise. Like, even though they're bred locally, like switching tank parameters, they stress. But now they're breeding for me. So it kind of sucks for my local guy because now I don't really need super reds from them because they're breeding in my tank pretty good. So same thing with my chocolate bristle nose. I got those from Ryan, who, if you watch some of the older Ohio Fish Rescue videos, he's in there. He's what's his screen name? Bearded crap, I forget. Bearded something. I bought a bunch, 50 or 100 chocolate. They're chocolate and calico bristle nose, just a mix. Well, the problem was I bought like 100 of them, and they sat in my tanks, and I sold maybe 20 right away, and then like the other 50 started growing and growing and growing, and then they started breeding. So now I'm getting baby calico ones. So eventually, it's like I won't need Ryan's anymore, like that supply, which kind of sucks because I like being able to buy fish from him, but I just have so many. It's the same thing with super reds. Like the super reds, they're breeding pretty quickly. So yeah. Any new Pleco fry? As far as the brilliants, so the brilliants are like one of those things where I figure by the time I notice if I have any, they're at least a month old. At least a month old, because they're so tiny when they're new. So for a month, I never see them. It's not until I randomly look at the tank and I'm like, what's that little black looking Pleco? I'm like, oh, okay. The super reds, because they're red or orange or whatever, they're easier to spot. The brilliant bristle nose, when they're super small, it's almost impossible to spot them in this tank until they get to the quarter inch, half inch, even probably, I would probably say half-inch size. So I haven't noticed any, and they don't breed, like, they don't have egg clutches like a super red, where like you can look in a cave and be like, oh, there's a big egg clutch and the male's on it. I think what they do is it's like the random egg is dropped, it gets fertilized, and then stays hidden somewhere, like down in a crack. So I don't know if maybe the super reds or other bristlenose of the other brilliants are eating the eggs, and that's why I never find a clutch of them. But the previous owner of this breeding group said the same thing. Like, he never got a clutch of them. He would just randomly find a baby in the tank, and that's exactly what I'm experiencing. So far, I've had 3 babies, which I'm stoked about. I sold all 3. One did die. The breather bag, the seam busted in transit, so I did lose one of the brilliants, which that really sucked because this is like my prize collection right here. So I don't know if I have any more babies yet. There could be some in there. I won't know for another month because that's pretty much how long it takes before I can see them. I don't know. I feel like they don't, when they're very small, they don't put on size as quickly as like super reds. But once they start getting some meat to them, they do start getting bigger quicker. But the super reds are just, I mean, they're super active. They look great. If I can toot my own horn, the super reds are looking good. I'm not really like selective breeding. Like, I could go for, like, I've seen darker red super reds, if that makes sense. Like, I would say these are like medium red. They're not albino, they're not light, but they're not the darkest. I could try to take time to get more line specific breeding, pull the best looking male, best looking female, and work with them. But with me, trying to sell the house, I don't know when that's going to be. It'd be cool within the next few months before like snow hits, but I can't start that project right now. But the next fish room definitely would be cool. I often try to give someone an extra chance in Dan's giveaway streams. Try choosing a new person every week. I can't remember now, but I re-give it. So much trouble plus expensive other things. Mickey, was it you or I sent somebody a USB air pump, I think, through the mail. I can't remember if that was you or not. Somebody overseas. I don't remember if it was you or GRB or somebody. I sent somebody a USB air pump. Rough Ivy Rose, good to see you. Got rid of my 3 L397s. Created a mess chewing all that wood. 397. Tiger Plucko. Those are stunners. Super stunners. That was the one thing I wanted to do with the chunks of Malaysian driftwood. One of the wholesale companies sells like small, medium, large, extra large size Malaysian driftwood. Well, the small is just like square chunks. So it's like you can use it. You have to like put it with other pieces of wood to make like an aquascape. Because by itself, it's just kind of a square block. Like, it doesn't look natural or anything like that. So what I thought of, and I bought, with wholesales, you got to buy so much. So I bought like 8 pieces or 10 pieces of small, 10 pieces of medium, large. And that way I could see what it was like. I think it was GRB in Australia. Yeah, it was Australia. So must have been GRB. I thought about trying to cut them down to like 1 inch by 2 or 3 inch long blocks and selling that as pleco food, basically. Like clown plecos, like wood, your tiger plecos. So that'd be good because like I don't have this on camera. So can you see? Let me make this screen bigger. Yeah, you can see there's actually a super red on it right now, right where my finger is. That's super red. Well, this is a block of wood. This is like a 2x4. It's not pine wood. I actually don't know what kind of wood it is. Mike gave it to me because the Brilliant Bristlenose, Mike bought. I'm pretty sure it was Mike. You bought the same ones. he bought not a breeding group, but he bought like, I don't know if it was just one or a couple of the babies of these from the same guy I bought this group from. And that guy gave Mike some wood for these plecos. And Mike's like, here's a piece of wood that they eat. I don't know what it is. I think it's a hardwood or harder because like there's still a lot of it left, and it's been in there for a long time. You can definitely tell that they rasp on it, but it's still 2x4ish looking. I mean, maybe it's not hardwood, but it's definitely like not pine or anything like that. You can't get through a stream without Steven bringing up his wood. Yeah, I mean, I was going to, I stopped myself earlier. I was going to talk about this, but mulberry wood. Is that what it is? Okay. I feel like when you gave that to me, we weren't sure what it was. So that's cool that you found out. But yeah, so like selling a chunk, like I don't have. We'll take this little Pisto Cave. So this was another product that I bought to see if it was something I wanted to sell, and so I bought a few of these, and then like a week later, they discontinued them. So then I couldn't get any more. So I'm like, well, there's no point in me trying to sell these when I can't get any more, because I really like these little Pisto Caves. These would be like, I guess, shrimp caves, but like shrimp don't really hang out in something that's enclosed. Like they're always out grazing. The shrimp caves I sell are like the log style with all the holes in it. They go in those, but like something like this would be good. If this was a little bit, if this was bigger, it'd be cool for plecos, because plecos would go in there and lay eggs. But this isn't a Pisto hut, I believe is what this is called. Yeah. So Pisto hut. So, think of cutting the Malaysian wood down to like a chunk like this, and then it doesn't have to look pretty because it's pleco food. Impossible, Jim. That is impossible. So anyways, I know we are definitely over the hour mark, and I actually have somewhere to be in 15 minutes. I have an online meeting with some buddies. So I need to hop off here. Thank you guys so much. Bruce, email me whenever, and this will be ready for you. Thank you guys so much. When we hit that 3K mark, we will do a decent giveaway. So we'll do some equipment, used heaters, or some sponge filters that are technically used. Like they look fine, they're clean, they're not cycled because they're when I'm done with the sponge filter. So here's a good example. So this is a used. It's showing up. It's a used sponge filter. It's super stiff right now, but it's clean. But this is something that was in a small tank that I use to cycle. But maybe this will be something I can give away. This is great for like keeping in, like, let's say like you had it like hidden in the back of this tank, just to let it run, even though like this thing's too small for a 55 for sure. This is really meant for like, I think they tell you 10 gallons. I use this on like the small tanks. So this is really for like nano tanks, but you keep this tucked away, like back behind some plants, or you got to hang on back. You keep this tucked away, and this is an emergency sponge filter. So if you have a tank that, let's say you're getting a tank crash for, I don't know, you see a bacteria bloom, you can pull this out of your 55 and dump this into whatever tank, and it's just some extra filter media. So I think this was on my nano tank in here, but that's a good thing to have, is an extra, even if you don't need it, have an extra sponge filter already cycled. And let's say you go to a fish swap meet and you randomly buy some fish that you weren't planning on, you can come home, get a bucket of water, as long as it's dechlorinated, drop this sucker in, and then, hey, you got a cycled tank ready to go. But anyways, we'll see. Anyways, thank you everybody for being here tonight. My mods and everybody that participated, I appreciate y'all. We'll see you next Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And sweet dreams of thinking about wood tonight, right? I'll see you guys. Hopefully that 3K mark will come here quick. So anyways, see ya.